Hi, I'm John Hart, and welcome back to Mr. America Hart. Man, today, here we are in the midst of this big upsurgence of high-intensity training in the last, 2 years or so in social media and YouTube. There's been a whole generation. I mean, you guys between 24 and 44 have really, well, let's just say 20 and 44, have really pulled the interest level, straight through the roof, okay? And it's really cool to see because the questions I get through social media and emails I get, really interesting. You guys have a really good perspective on training and an interest in high intensity training specifically, which seemed to be for a while to be kind of dying off. And here's the thing. You all have asked me a lot of questions about Mike Mentzer versus Dorian Yates and, their different ideas on training and different routines they have and have had and which is best for you. Now, I've done an entire video on the evolution of Mike Mentzer's training. I'll put the thumbnail up right here. You can go ahead and check that video out. I'll put the link down in the video description later on. You can check that out after watching this video because it gives an evolution of his training and the different routines that he used and those that he used on clients and those that he recommended. Some, I say, in theory. I was friends with Mike, and I do know near the end of his life, in the years of 2000, 2001, that he was experimenting with a few things. What am I talking about here? I'm talking about, his serious consolidated routine, training very few exercises, 2 or 3 in one workout, and then not training again for anywhere from 6 or 7 days. That was one of the things he was experimenting with. The other thing that he was experimenting with was slow motion training. Okay, moving the weights in a slow motion fashion. That was just in the last year of his life. But for the vast majority of his career and his career training, all of his clients, including me, and his friends, including me, that was not how he trained us. He trained us with a normal rep speed. So we're kind of getting that right out of the way, okay? So that's important that you know that. So when you compare Mike's training to Dorian's training, you can't go by that one video that you see of Mike Mentzer the day before he died, where he's training a client and he's with Ray, his brother, in the background, and he has him doing all this slow motion movement. That was literally the day before he died, and it was the last year of his life where he was still working through training people in slow motion fashion. I was in the same gym as him, so I know how he was training clients. This was not how he trained them prior to those last few months before he died. Most of us who made great progress never lifted and lowered weights in the speeds that he used in those videos. So don't go by the videos. Go by his books more than anything else. Mike Mentzer's books. So when you do a visual comparison of what you've seen in video format, that's the thing I've made, the point that I've made to the majority of you guys out there. You're looking at that video of Mike Mentzer training the client and training with very slow speed. And then you have over here video of Dorian training in blood and guts. And ballistic. He's moving weights up and down. He's moving kind of quick, and you're going, wow, these are two different routines entirely. Well, you're missing some of the point, which is that Dorian learned from Mike, okay? And Dorian had already been 6-time Mr. Olympia, 6 times, and retired by 1997. He won it from 1992 to 1997. So he was long gone and retired from competitive bodybuilding, 6-time Mr. Olympia, using the principles that he learned from Mike originally. Does that mean he did his exact routines? No, he didn't. But some contributions from Mike were seriously affecting, let's say, Dorian's training and his progress. Specifically in 1992, Dorian had already won the Mr. Olympia, and he was using a lot of Mike's principles, but he felt the need to train with 2 sets per body part on average. 2 sets per exercise, let me correct myself, on average. At that point, he came to Venice Beach. He knew he could be better. He trained with Mike specifically to get better, and Mike had him reduce his training to 1 set per exercise. Between 1992, so a one-time Mr. Olympia, attempting to become a two-time Mr. Olympia, Dorian put on so much muscle in that 1 year that he came out in 1993 like a walking dinosaur filled with muscle, peeled, shredded, grainy, that's the word that everyone uses for Dorian, with a level of muscle mass and graininess never seen before. And he wiped out the field. It wasn't even close. It was a distant second place. So Dorian still used Mike's principles, but yet, let's keep in mind, at that point, Mike had not even experimented with slow motion speeds. That happened just, cadence in other words, cadence. He had not done that until literally the last few months of his life in 2001, early 2001. He passed in the summer of 2001 at 50 years old. So here we go. Which routine? I'm answering the question now as direct as I can. You guys who have been asking, which routine is better, Mentzer or Yates? Well, Dorian himself has acknowledged that we have a divide. The divide is, are you enhanced, meaning on steroids, growth hormones, bodybuilding type drugs, performance enhancing drugs, or are you natural? There we go. It greatly affects the frequency of how often you work out. It greatly affects even the volume, how much you do within a single workout. So Dorian himself concedes today as a trainer in 2024, he concedes that if you're natural, you don't need to do his 4-day-a-week split. It may be too much using all these high intensity techniques that he talks about, forced reps, negatives, etc. And so pushing it for 4 days a week may be too much. That's not training a body part 4 times a week. That's 4 total workouts in a week. Keep in mind, Dorian, during his peak, trained 4 times per week as Mr. Olympia. He didn't train every day. Okay, that was all of his competitors. So Dorian, right out the gate, says, take his workout protocol, and if you're not enhanced and you're natural, you need to go 3 days a week would be better for you. Well, how do you take his routine and modify it to a 3-day-a-week protocol for you? Well, normally his routine was coming in the gym early in the week, and he would do shoulders, traps, triceps. That would be one workout. The very next workout would be back, all by itself. Back, rear delts, lower back, all by itself. Okay, very intense. The third workout of the week, later on that week, would be, and I know you guys, I always quote this one as being my way of doing it, but I'll go with the way you guys say it. The third workout of the week would be chest and biceps. And then the final workout of the week would be legs. So 4 workouts within 1 week. How do you adjust that to fit your naturalness? So if you are natural, inject a day off in between each one of those workouts, and therefore we have, let's start with a Monday. We have Monday, shoulders, traps, and triceps. Take a day off. Wednesday, back. Take a day off. Friday, chest and biceps. Take a day off. Sunday, if you're recovered and ready to go by Sunday and overcompensated, you're feeling pretty good and raring to go, then Sunday you would do legs. Or push it off till Monday. And you just go Monday, Wednesday, and Friday training on a 4-day split. That routine I have found to be excellent. I mean excellent. Back in the day, I did Mike Mentzer's ideal routine. His routine consisted of also 4 different workouts. Each one was separated by starting off at 4 days off in between workouts. So you would work out on a Monday and then have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then train Friday. 1, 2, 3, 4 days between workouts. So, and then you would continue to take 4 days off after that. You would rotate these 4 workouts that I'm putting up on the screen for you. That's Mike Mentzer's workout. And he had a different approach. He would do chest and back on the first workout. The next workout would be legs. The third workout would be shoulders and arms. The fourth workout would be legs, number 2. Why do a lower body workout in between these upper body workouts? Because Mike, in his experimentation, had reckoned that the upper body was getting so much overlapping, but the legs weren't. And a lot of his clients were progressing amazingly well in their legs. So let's inject a leg workout in between each upper body workout. And therefore, you won't overlap the upper body muscles as often. And the clients progressed. So no, it's not a workout that he did himself when he was in his prime. Yes, it's a workout that he did on the clients and his friends like me back in the day, in the mid-90s. So Dorian had the benefit of that knowledge when Dorian was coming up and competing. Mike published that book and that routine in Heavy Duty 2, Mind and Body, in 1991, 1992. Dorian was Mr. Olympia at that point and had the benefit of communicating with Mike and learning about that routine, but yet he never did jump over to that routine. He continued with his own and would go on to separate or inject more off days and train less with only 1 set per exercise to failure and beyond, and would progress. So out of both routines, these were the main ones that they're known for. Of course, I just pointed out to you, Mike had an evolution in his training, so did Dorian to a degree. But these were the prime routines that you all are talking about. So I'm addressing that directly. Which one is better for you? Well, if you're natural, by far and away, I would start with Mike Mentzer's ideal routine. I did it. I progressed on it. Having those days off in between really intense workouts allowed me to recover and overcompensate, and it worked out great. It comes out to about 2 to 2.5 workouts per week. I was able to put on a lot of muscle. In the 90s, I was able to compete and do really well in natural bodybuilding. I won the natural Mr Universe, and then in the 2000s, 2010s, I won the Mr America, the actual Mr America in 2013, training that way. 2012 and 13, actually. I won my class both years, and then I won the overall in 2013. So by that time, though, I have to tell you, again, there's an evolution. So I've mentioned an evolution in Mike's training. Dorian also had an evolution in his. Well, I had an evolution in mine as well, where I did start out with Mike's ideal routine. And then over time, what happened? It didn't work for me like it did in the beginning. So I had to adjust later on. And what did I do? I did Dorian's natural split, let's call it. Dorian's natural split was the 3-day-a-week routine. That worked really well. And I would do that routine and then even go further than that down the road, competing as a natural pro. I cut that down even further, which I'll save for another video for you. So that's my recommendation, is to, if you're going to choose between the two, don't choose between the two, have both, but start here with Mike Mentzer's and then evolve. And as it doesn't work as well for you, graduate into more of a Dorian type split. I have found that to be excellent. I've had clients do it, and they continue to progress. That's not just progressing in strength, by the way. I'm not a strength training athlete. Okay, I'm not a power lifter. If I wanted to be ultimately the strongest I could be, I would study and I would follow strength training routines from power lifters. That's all there is to that, okay? I mean, they're the masters. They walk this earth and they have the best protocols going. You could study power lifters like Chad Wesley Smith, Juggernaut, training systems. You could study Louis Simmons from West Side Barbell. You see me wearing the t-shirts in all my videos. Study their routines. Okay, go to their websites, buy their routines. They're good for you. So that's it for today. From my heart to you, John Hart. Hey, before you go, off to your left, you're going to see this disc pop up next to my head. That is the subscribe button for my channel. Please give that thing a tap and let YouTube know that you want to be subscribed to my channel, and they will notify you every time I have a new video pop up. Down below and off to your left, you can see this thumbs up button. Won't you give my video a thumbs up and let the YouTube algorithm know how much you're enjoying my videos? It helps the channel and it lights up that algorithm. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.